So let's play some fill in the blank. Chris, aside from new personnel in Houston, we talked about the changes on offense. The biggest change that the Texans offense need right now is what?
Well, variety is the word that comes to my mind, and in two different, areas here. Variety in some of the schematical plays that the offense runs with the Houston Texans. They can be a little basic and stale at times, if I was going to sit here and be honest and compare it to the other really creative offenses in football. But the big thing is where variety comes into play is something you hit on already, Mike. Deshaun Watson to DeAndre Hopkins, Deshaun Watson to DeAndre Hopkins, Deshaun Watson to DeAndre Hopkins. That's the only thing that's been going on in Houston the last 3 or 4 years. Last year, it's more than double the output of anybody on the roster as far as receptions. The years before that, it's triple and quadruple as far as the gap between his receptions and second and third on the team in receptions. It just was always going to him. So, I think the fact that they got, Brandon Stills and Will Fuller, who's been hurt a lot. If he can stay healthy, he's a game changer, as we know. But then to have Cooks with him and Randall Cobb, I do think it's going to make this offense a little different this year, and that you won't be able to hone in on one guy. And you're going to go, okay, all these guys are viable options. They all are good route runners. And it might make the offense harder to defend as a whole. Might not take off right away, but at the end of the season, it might be better than just Watson to Hopkins.
Here's what the offense needs, in my opinion, and this is the direct influence of working with you for the last 3 years. One of the things I've learned from having the benefit of your insight and knowledge on how offenses work. They need plays that happen quickly, that are designed to work right off the bat.
There you go.
You get the ball and you throw it. You get a guy wide open.
Easy completions, yes.
Easy completions, the Sean Payton plays where, and we're going to have some Sean Payton plays coming up later in the program, where it makes the quarterback look good. The job is easy. It's designed so that from the get-go, your guy's going to be open. Because what do we see with Deshaun Watson all the time? He's holding onto the ball. He's running around. Every play is like it's the last play of the Super Bowl, and he's trying to make something happen. And the longer that he's doing that, the greater the chance he's going to get hit. The more times he gets hit, the greater the chance he's going to get hurt. They need to figure out how to move the ball without Deshaun Watson having to hold on to the ball for 8 seconds, Chris.
I'm with you, Mike. I'm with you. It's one of the things that scares me. They put a lot on his plate on a play-by-play, weekly basis that way. And you're right. He still has a last play of the game type mentality where it's never over. That's what I was talking about with the variety and schemes a little bit is, they need to find some of those no-brainer, easy completions for Deshaun Watson. Whether those are, quick screen passes like we've seen, Brady throw to Julian Edelman with blockers in front of him, or those quick throws that we see Rodgers make to Devontae Adams and they got a bunch of blockers in front of them. Yeah, those are big for a quarterback. They give you a play or two off mentally to where you can just come to the line. You don't have to worry about, am I seeing the defense the right way? Do I have to get in the right check? Nobody's perfect. You're going to mess up at some point. Even Peyton Manning and Brady mess up every now and then. So to have plays like that are, one, physically good for the quarterback, and two, mentally good for the quarterback and the offense in general. So I'm with you there, Mike. That was a good one.
And I think it also affects the defense in a negative way as well. You get them on their heels. They get that what the hell is going on out here attitude, and I think it becomes easier to impose your will on them where the plays aren't designed from the get-go to lead to an easy completion and an easy first down.
Yes, I think that's the big thing, and especially, the big thing is with some of those plays you're talking about too, you can vary up the snap count, right? Some of those slam dunk easy completions, you don't need to go up there and diagnose. So you could just get up there and, set hut or blue go and just go, which also will give you a schematical advantage on the defense who's sitting there waiting for a snap count. Now they're going, man, are they going to snap it quick? Is it going to be a dummy snap count? Is it going to be a, on two? What are they going to? So that'll add to having them on their heels and not knowing what to expect. And that's what the great offenses do. They keep you off balance that way, make you defend the whole field, as we've talked about a whole lot. And certainly a great offensive coordinator can find a lot of easy ways to give his quarterback some cheap completions every game.
Yeah, next thing you know, you got guys jumping offside because they don't know when the hell the snap count's going to be, and you pick up 5 cheap yards here or there a couple of times during the course of the game. cumulatively, that can make a huge difference. All right, Jay Gruden is the new offensive coordinator of the Jacksonville Jaguars. They are giving Gardner Minshew every opportunity to show that he's the guy. Compared to his rookie year, you would expect Gardner Minshew's 2020 to be what, Chris?
I don't know how to. I'm going to just say better. I don't know what other way to say this here, but either way, again, it was a great start with how he started his rookie year. 21 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, makes plays when things aren't there. I guess what I want to say is I think they'll play through Gardner. 2020 will be an offense that's run through Gardner Minshew more than maybe last year where they managed him and ran the ball and, hey, he's a rookie, let's not put too much on his plate. I think they know the DNA of this guy, what he's capable of handling. Jay Gruden's got great people skills. It's a really good offense. It's going to really fit the skill set of Gardner Minshew. And I think they'll empower him this year. That'll be the big thing. He's going to have more control at the line of scrimmage. They're going to trust him with more variety of plays, too, on the offensive side of the ball to where, yeah, he was a rookie, and they probably reined it in a little bit to not overwhelm him and make him feel comfortable.
There's an attitude, though. There's an edge that comes from talking to people with the Jaguars. I had Dave Caldwell on the PFTM podcast a few weeks back. He's the Jaguars general manager, the guy who found Gardner Minshew in the 6th round out of Washington State in 2019. He would make the argument that Minshew had a better rookie season than Kyler Murray, which I'm not ready to sign on for that. And Dave Caldwell crossed the boundary into what is a finable offense in these parts by invoking quarterback wins as a statistic for quarterbacks, which we would all agree. Even though the quarterback has a factor, he's a factor in making the guys around him play better. It's not a quarterback stat to say you've got a better win-loss record because there's so much else, including the quality of your defense, most importantly.
No doubt.
That is part of that. But Minshew was good last year. I think we have this vague perception of Minshew because he got thrust into the fray out of the blue. We didn't even know who the hell the guy was, right? Here he comes, week 1. Nick Foles breaks a collarbone. He plays pretty well, but then he essentially got benched later in the year for Foles. I mean, they could have kept Foles on the sidelines. If Minshew was playing really well, they would have. He got to a point where he plateaued and maybe regressed a little bit, and they yanked him out, and then they put him back in. But there's that kind of that black mark on his resume from last year where are they ambivalent about him? Do they really believe in him? And I think they do now, but I think that, he didn't have that wire-to-wire great year that makes us say, like we do with Kyler Murray, oh, he's definitely the guy.
No, I think that's it. And, you could sit here and go, oh, yeah, he had a better year than Kyler Murray. No, he did not. I'm sorry. As good as it was for Gardner Minshew, you're right. He hit a really rough patch in the middle of the year. And, hey, this will be the big point. When Kyler Murray stepped on the field from the Arizona Cardinals, they were like, hey there, buddy, we're going to throw the ball a lot. We're going to put you in the shotgun. It's all about you. You've got to carry the team. You've got to make it happen. Gardner Minshew got Leonard Fournette, who was one of the top rushers in football. They played a different style to where it wasn't on him on a play-by-play basis to carry the team. The franchise was thrown on the back of Kyler Murray from the get-go, and he didn't blink and nobody else did. So that's the difference between the year of Gardner Minshew and Kyler Murray. There was a little bit more of managing of situations with Gardner Minshew, to your point and to what you're saying there.
And speaking of Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals, running back Kenyon Drake says his ceiling is as high as he will take it. What is the ceiling for the Cardinals, Chris? The ceiling is blank.
Well, I'm going to say wild card round, like somewhere, as a 6th or 7th seed. To me, that's the ceiling. I don't look at them and go, oh, they're going to win the NFC West this year. I don't think they're there yet. They're trending upwards. I'm excited about them. But I think ultimately that's how I look at it. The ceiling is a, low-seeded playoff appearance for the Cardinals this year. How do you feel about that, Mike?
Well, I remember there's a 7th seed now in the NFC, and we've already talked about the possibility that all 4 teams from the NFC West could make it to the postseason now because you've got 3 wild cards, not 2, and there's no limitation on the number that comes from any one division, and the NFC West clearly the best division in the conference, if not the best division in all of football. Last Friday, Big Cat and I answered a question from a viewer about teams that could go worst to first, and we both kind of pegged the Cardinals as a possibility, not a strong possibility, but one that wouldn't shock us. They were 4th place last year in that division. You get enough of that beating up on each other within the division, and the Cardinals beat
right.
the Seahawks in Seattle, and they gave the 49ers a hard time twice. You win a couple of those games this year instead of lose them, and maybe you are in the mix to win the division, Chris.
It's not crazy.
I think that's their ceiling, winning the NFC West.
Oh, wow, that's strong. Yeah, I don't think I would go that far, but they've improved their defense, and I expect Kyler Murray with DeAndre Hopkins and company for that offense to be a lot more explosive this year, especially what we saw with the emergence of Kenyon Drake at the end of last season and all that too. So, yeah, I don't think they can win the NFC West. Do I think they can be a really big pain in the butt for everybody and be competitive in the playoff conversation? I absolutely do.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.